kind of know by now, sensuality is a way of connecting to all our senses and experiencing reality to the fullest. And we experience reality in the fullest by utilizing our senses and being really present in any experience that has to do with our senses. So obviously that's sight, smell, taste, and like texture, touch, and hearing. And while sensuality often crosses into sexuality and sex, it's also just an experience of living. So the way that I see it is to be sensual is to feel fully alive. When we are present in the experience of our senses, we feel a rush of what it's like to be alive. It kind of crosses into being really present, into mindfulness. If you follow sort of the belief and idea that we are a body housing a soul or a form of energy, then experiencing this world and reality with our body and with the fullness of our senses is what we're here to do. And it's not that we're just here to feel, but feeling through those given abilities that we have can lead us towards what it is that brings us happiness, what it is that our gifts and talents are, what makes us feel fulfilled and makes us want more. I also see sensuality as something that is fluctuating. We may retreat back into ourselves and into a place where it's too painful to feel. It's sort of like waves, and for women it can kind of go with the cycles of our bodies, maybe even the cycles of the moon. But it's also something that we can conjure up. So one thing that I didn't have the ability to get into in my last video about sensuality is treating it almost like a ritual or practice, a spiritual practice even. With a sensual practice or ritual, it's about setting the space and vibe. So one example that I actually come to a lot is setting up an evening space or gradually working my way into my evening. For a before bed sort of ritual and practice, you want to calm down, you want to start to disassociate from the world for the day, you want to internalize and go deeper inside yourself and start to reflect. So one thing you might do is when you set up this vibe or space, you think about what will be most tantalizing to your senses for that purpose. You don't want any harsh, disruptive lights in your space, not to mention your phone. You might dim the lights or even turn them off entirely and light some candles. So that would be a way to adjust your visual space. Maybe you need to get rid of a little bit of clutter, or sit in a favorite space in your home where what you see around you is the most pleasing to the eye. And you might think about texture and feeling. So how do the clothes feel that you're wearing on your body? Something that I've always felt really strongly about is changing when I get home into something very comfortable. I've never been able to relax in the clothes that I've worn throughout the day, but what sort of textures you choose to envelop your body is an important part of that sensual experience too. So if you just want coziness, maybe you're picking like a very soft, fluffy blanket or onesie. If you want something that is a bit more into the sensual, sexual side of things, you choose something really silky and sultry to wear. And then when you're thinking about like smells and hearing, maybe you want to put on some kind of fragrance that you really like, or essential oil and a diffuser. And for hearing, it's what kind of music you want to listen to in that space. Maybe it's a soundscape. Maybe you put on a crackling fire. Maybe you have a small little fountain, and if you don't have these things in reality, you can obviously play them digitally. What kind of music is going to be most soothing to you in that moment? So again, if you want like a really cozy, relaxing, meditative vibe, maybe you put on meditation music. Sometimes I kind of picture it like setting up a scene in a music video. I think that a reason that we love music videos so much is they are so sensual. They're kind of like a snapshot of beautiful visuals and obviously the song, textures and stuff. So if you were a scene in a music video, what would that look like? So that's kind of what the practice of setting up a sensual space might look like. We often rely so much on the spaces that other people cultivate for us or that we accidentally come across or come into, but there's something really powerful about creating our own space and vibe. There's something really special and beautiful to seeing the way we prepare ourselves as a ritual in and of itself. I think about like if you were royalty or if you were a king or queen back in the day, how much effort goes into the adornment, the jewels, the dress. And it's not about expensive clothes or anything like that. It's about the feeling. It's also about the approach. You might lay out the clothes that you want to wear and choose the clothes that make you feel really good for that purpose or for what you want to step out for. And thinking in advance about what those clothes are going to be and almost brainstorming it and maybe creating a mood board like on Pinterest over time to get to know your style is not a superficial exercise. It can really help you develop a positive relationship with your wardrobe. And your wardrobe can be a ritualized, almost spiritual experience. We're given this body and we can adorn it and style it and dress it however we choose. And say you're going somewhere that you want to feel sensual and confident for. If it's just a matter of getting ready to look good, that can put a lot of pressure on ourselves and set us down a difficult path. If we ritualize that method of getting ready so that we enjoy the process almost more than the expectation of how we're gonna look or where we're gonna go and what we're gonna experience, then we are cultivating that sensuality to come up within us and then pour out of us when we step out into the world. So that might be things like that border into self-care and seem kind of trivial, but they're actually important as part of this whole process. To start off, I probably would shower and clean my body so that I feel fresh. And maybe that shower experience itself is something that I maximize to its fullest potential. So I really feel the water on my body. Maybe I'm exfoliating. I might moisturize my body with some coconut oil, but really like revel in that experience and feel every curve and part of your body and send love and gratitude to every part of your body. Maybe doing any makeup or hair or whatever you want to do, to your face, you're listening to music that makes you feel really confident and sensual and like taps you into that vibration. When you're putting clothes on, having music play that kind of guides you can feel really comforting. Music that makes you feel like you're really tapping into the essence that you want to conjure up. And then you're choosing your outfit in a slightly different, more deliberate way. It's about more than just what you're gonna wear tonight. It's about how you feel already and what you can put on your body to match that. And there is no limit to what you can do here. These are just ideas that I've described, but every single person is unique, and that is what is so beautiful about tapping into your sensuality, is it's going to be your own unique set of experiences. Every single experience that everybody has utilizing their senses can be different and then tailored to like the unique imprint of who they are and what their soul is. When we enter a space, how do we want to experience that space? And that comes into more of a active presence and mindfulness and really feeling the moment. We all know how different an experience or night out or whatever can be when we're in our heads versus when we're out in our body in the world and interacting in a really present way. It makes all the difference if you're talking to someone really, really listening, like actively listening as if it was the only thing you were here to do. We have so many distractions these days. Our phones are going off. We text people mid-conversation. Both parties know how beautiful it feels to be listened to and to listen to someone really, really presently when they're speaking. And then there's things like moving through the world. We've met and seen people who move with like a sense of grace and ease through the world. They move with pride. And all of that comes from how someone feels within. It's all in the little things like how you pour cream into your coffee and mix it and eat your food. Maybe you're eating slowly and you're really experiencing every mouthful. It's like living your life with an ASMR lens, basically. I think that the idea of people watching is also such a sensual experience because we're so intrigued by the visual of other people out there in the world and what they're doing and how they're moving. And the sense of us being watched when it's invited can be a very sensual experience. If someone's into like performance, that can be something that you love tapping into, is people watching you fully embrace your sensuality. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I do encourage you to check out my first video about connecting to sensuality, and also the guided meditation that I did if that speaks to you. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon.